There is this story of a man and his wife that were both buried in the same grave here in Gudu Cemetery, Abuja. They were said to have died one day apart from each other, and the story of how they died is very sad, but also very heartwarming too. I will show you their final resting place soon, and we will talk more on the details once we get to their grave sites.
Hey, sorry yo.
Meanwhile, this Gudu Cemetery is said to be one of the biggest cemeteries in Abuja. It's a very large compound, as you can see. However, what struck me the most is the segregation here. Unlike what we saw in Gudu Cemetery in our previous video, it seems like the Christians and Muslims have their own parts. The Muslims are buried at one side of the compound, while the Christians are buried at the other side.
Okay, this side and the new side. They get Christian side and Muslim side.
Yeah, no, Christian. Muslim side they get.
Okay, Muslim side did that downside. We been the empty that time. And nobody did that side. Muslim no they die.
They die now.
Now wow.
I don't know why that is the case, but I want to guess it has to do with the burial practices, as I noticed that in the Muslim side of the cemetery, there is no visible gravestone, no visible grave monument, no tombstone or anything. Unlike the Christian side, where you can actually see the stones and the grave monuments and the crosses and, all of those markers that shows that someone had been buried here. And looking at the Muslim side, it's someone who is not very familiar would assume that the Muslims don't die. My friend Divine also was surprised at the fact that there were people buried there, because he too thought that no one was there. So one thing that I found fascinating with the Gudu Cemetery was the fact that there were ancient graves as far back as the 18th century. And I was really hoping to see old ones here too in Abuja. Maybe I came to the wrong cemetery, because this particular cemetery might not be as old as I thought it would be. So we told our tour guide to show us the oldest grave here, but I think he mistook it for the oldest person buried here. So he took us to this woman's grave who was 101 years old when she died. And it's quite funny though. I was actually looking for the oldest grave, and he pretty much brought us to the oldest grave.
He's taking me to where we'll see. Okay, this is the oldest person here.
This woman actually shares my name. Interesting. She really did live a long life. 101 years old. Man, that is a whole century. She saw all the world wars. She pretty much saw the First and the Second World War. She saw the Civil War in Nigeria. She saw our independence. She most likely saw the independence of many countries in Africa. That's impressive. Another interesting thing about Gudu Cemetery is that, unlike Ikoyi, where to bury your loved ones may cost you thousands of naira, up to 1 million, if not over, down here in Gudu Cemetery, it costs nothing to rest in peace. It's free here. According to what we were told, all you have to do is bring your loved one's certificate, tender a death certificate, and pay for grave diggers. When you bring your loved one who has passed and you show the people in charge of the cemetery the death certificate, they will assign a free spot for you to bury your loved one for free. You will only have to pay the grave diggers and those who may want to do the marking, the markers and the gravestones and the monuments. And I think it's quite interesting and very fascinating too, because I don't know, this cemetery should be full by now. I don't know if many people know this, because in most cemeteries you have to pay a lot of money.
I'm burying my dead person here now. What is the process like?
First thing, you bring death certificate.
Okay, death certificate. You should say the person don't die. Then what else? I'll give Una the death certificate to show Una.
You will show us first before they will give you form.
Okay.
After they give you form, they will give you space.
Okay, you buy land.
No, it's not for sale. The space is free.
This is another unmarked one. Okay, the space is free.
The space is free.
How come? For everybody?
It's belong
to government. Oh.
You will just pay money for diggers and
okay.
workers.
The only thing I will need is to pay diggers and workers. Then the grave go there forever and ever and ever. Hey, this one good though. I say for other ones they pay. I don't know say this one they pay.
If you see those who they pay back.
This one will pay no be government one.
No be
Now I don't know.
Transit.
Okay. This one now is broken. And then there's so many unmarked graves. There's so many unmarked graves. Look.
Another thing again is that this cemetery is not very old, like I've mentioned before. It seems like the oldest graves here dates back to the early 2000s. In fact, the oldest I've seen so far died and was buried here in 2008. But there could be older ones here, because you see, the tricky thing here, or the problem with the Gudu Cemetery here, is that there is so many unmarked graves. So many. Some don't have a stone, not even a line to demarcate it, not even a marker. Some are just flat surface, plain earth. You could not tell that someone had been buried here. The only ones we could tell were the ones that were already sinking in, that you could tell that, oh, the soil sunk a little, and that is how you can tell that maybe someone had been buried there. Except for the graves that had their markers and their stones, some flat surfaces that are just earth and grass holds up deceased people, but you can't tell. You can't tell. There are most likely over 5,000 people buried here without a marker. And I think over time, this free cemetery will be filled up. And I wonder what will happen. Remember, it's free. And I don't know who might be in charge in the next few years, but I want to doubt with a little bribe, some of these unmarked graves can be reused.
Walk down some more. All these places, they don't bury person here. They bury person here. Even this one too.
Yeah.
And they no put tombstone.
If you see a way there like this, maybe those people did not have money.
Okay, those people don't have money to do this cement one.
Let me buy that from our.
Okay. So you heard him. Those ones now. Something like this now. This place now. Somebody's here. Somebody's here. Somebody's also here. They didn't have money to do a tombstone. And so they left it like that. Damn. That's tough. So as you can see, some people also have money. They could do carpet grass and all of that. They could do carpet grass for their own loved ones. But while some people just did this, nothing.
So guys, we're finally here. This is the final resting place of the couple that were buried in the same grave. I don't know if the coffin was placed on top of each other or side by side, but the story, according to what I learned, is that they both died a few hours apart from each other, in one of the most warming, heartbreaking situations you could ever imagine. Now, it was said that the husband was the one who was initially sick, very sick. It's not clear what his sickness was. It could have been cancer or something else. And his wife was always by his side. She took good care of this man. She never left his side. She made sure he was responding to treatment. She was like his guardian angel. And hearing the story now, I want to believe for every second this man was alive was because his wife was beside him. She was his rock. She was his everything. However, all the while this woman was standing by the husband, making sure the husband is getting the best treatment, taking care of the husband in his sick bed, making sure that he lives every single day alive. She too was dealing with her internal battle. It's not clear if she was aware of what was wrong with her. She was supposed to be the healthy one. However, somewhere along the line, it took a toll on her health, and instantly she fell sick, and instantly her sickness became so worse that she ended up dying first before her husband. The only thing was that after the husband learned that his wife was dead, he too gave up the ghost the next day to join her. And together they were both in third year. And I don't know, I really like the story. It's heartwarming. I don't know them. I'm sure maybe their loved ones or people who knew them when they were alive would hear the story. I think when you Google them, you will see their original picture. This is an AI version. I did not want to use their actual picture because I didn't take permission from the family and I don't want to offend anyone. However, the story is very touching and I really hope they find eternal rest and eternal peace. And I hope their children or the ones that they left behind are also doing well, because this is one very heartwarming, touching story that I have heard.
First one, the husband is sick.
Okay, so the husband died first. Then the wife.
So, woman they treat her for hospital.
Now she too should come sick
Now he wife can't die because
of stress.
Before husband.
Okay, then husband too come die out of saying wife too don't die. Okay.
You understand?
Yeah. So that's the grave there. So now they bury two of them together. Two different coffins on top of each other, beside each other.
No. Two coffins.
On top of each other. Okay. Two coffins on top of each other in one tombstone.
So guys, we're going to stop here in this particular video. The other part of the cemetery we went to see, and I just want to keep it short. So I'll see you guys in the part 2. Make sure you like, share, comment your thoughts, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because when you subscribe and you turn on your notification button, whenever there is a new video, you'll be the first to get notified. Thank you.
So this big one will be like sock away.
5 people there inside.